Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Popular Decks. I'm your host Michael, and today we're going to be playing this Pauper Classic hexproof deck. You may also have heard this called Bogles or Bogles, after Slippery Bogle. It's definitely pronounced Bogle, but I'm also probably going to call it Bogles, because that's just what I do. So the point of this deck is to play one of our 12 hexproof creatures and load them up with enchantments to pump them up and hope that our opponent can't kill our creatures. We've got a bunch of pump effects here. It's a pretty lean deck list. The flex slots are taken up here with the new Commune with Spirits, which allows us to look at the top 4 cards of our library and grab an enchantment or land. So this card was newly released and made its way into this deck list. So early on in the game, we might be grabbing a second or third land. Later in the game, or if we already have 3 lands, we'll be grabbing enchantments, if we can. One thing to note, I am not playing the new companion card. I copied Dissonance's list from a recent challenge, and I trust Dissonance to make a good deck list, so this is the one I'm going with. A lot of people have been replacing the Ledgewalkers with the new Cantrip and Companion from Neon Dynasty, but I'm going to stick with the extra hexproof creatures. I think that's pretty much it for the main deck. The sideboard, we've got Crimson Acolyte to protect us from red sweepers. A little tough sometimes to get enough white mana to make this work. Like getting 2 white mana on one turn can sometimes be tough, so like playing this and holding it up can be rough, but this will help us get around Fiery Cannonade and Electrickery. Bunch of Ray of Revelations. I assume, obviously these are for the mirror, but also I think we'll probably bring them in, at least some of them, against Pestilence, so we got those, but maybe we don't, I don't know. And then we got some gut shots for, I don't know, probably for Elves and Delver, most especially just decks with Fairy Miscreant, or not Fairy Miscreant, Spellstutter Sprite. Last, we've got a couple fight spells of different varieties. These, I assume, are for the decks that have creatures we really need to remove. So I'm thinking stuff like Stompy or Burn, maybe. If they're playing Thermal Alchemist, we might want a couple of these. Burn has traditionally been a pretty good matchup for this deck, especially like we've got these protection from red creatures and the Armadillo Cloaks to gain life. But Thermal Alchemist is one way we could lose, so I might bring in the Ram Throughs against them if we play against that deck. That's pretty much it for the list. It's a pretty clean list, pretty tight. Not a lot of room for experimentation here. There's kind of a lot of must-haves. The sideboard definitely has some more options, but in our case, we got a lot of 4-ofs basically in there. So I think that's it for the deck tech. Just a reminder, if you like this content and want to see more of it, hit the subscribe button or the like button or both. If you want to be heard by me, hit me up with some comments. I will respond to the comments that seem like they need responses, and I will read all of them. So that's a good way for you to make your voice heard if you want to see certain improvements to the content, or you want to see certain decks, stuff like that. I've been playing decks that people recommend as I have time, so yeah, you can definitely give me some good ideas for future decks, so I don't just play all the top tier stuff all in a row. I think that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the games. All right, here we are for round number 1, and we've got a pretty decent hand. It's a little slow with all the cantrips, but I am going to keep it. Let me make sure I have all the necessary stops on that I take off when I play teachings. All right, playing against some sort of artifact deck. That could mean pretty much anything these days. I'm going to start with the Utopia Sprawl. All my spells cost green right now, and I have 2 Abundant Growth, so I'm actually going to go with another green. Most of the time you would go with white on one of these, but I'm going to go with green. And I'm not super concerned about playing around counter spells at the moment with my my creatures here, because I have 2. All right, let's see how much they can play out here. Alright, looks like that's it. I think I'm going to go ahead. So the one thing I do need to worry about in these artifact decks is there's a Cart Clan something or other that can sacrifice artifacts to deal 1 damage to creatures without flying. Now that now that the Disciple has been banned, they probably don't have any main deck, but they do probably have some in the sideboard still. So I think I'm going to go ahead and play this Forest and then an Abundant Growth on it. Rancor is interesting, I suppose. I think I'm going to run out the Ledgewalker here and just pass the turn. I could try to play the Bogle and like trample through all their ground stuff, but I think I'm going to try to go over the top instead with the Ledgewalker. Of note, the Ledgewalker acts like it has flying on attacks, so it can only be blocked by creatures with flying. So for one, it cannot be blocked by creatures with reach, which is weird. And for two, it doesn't have flying. So it does still die to that creature I was talking about. I forget the name of it, but yeah, that Cart Clan card. Yeah, they're discarding a Galvanic Blast. That Cart Clan card only hits creatures that don't fly, and Ledgewalker unfortunately does not fly, despite what it looks like. Alright, not blocking here. Okay, Mirror Enforcer. Okay, let's run out Commune with Spirits. Looking for a big pumper, and we did find one, so we should have lethal next turn for sure. I think I'm gonna grab the mask. Yeah, because that'll be lethal next turn, so we'll grab the mask here. Just run that out now. I could sit back and block. I don't think there's any way they're realistically going to kill me next turn, unless every card they have is, unless they, of 3 of their 4 cards have to be their last Galvanic Blasts for them to win. So, well, let's see if I have lethal next turn, so, without attacking. So I've got 5 now. Rancor adds 4, so puts me at 9. Abundant Growth is another 2. Yeah, that's only 11, so I don't even have lethal next turn. That kind of makes me want to block here. Yeah, I'm going to sit back and block, I think, until I have a 2-turn clock. That's a tough call. Because if I hit any enchantments with either of my 2 draws, then I'll win. I'm going to attack. We'll see if that works out for me or not. That's kind of a tough call. Okay, well, my draw made it really easy. That's 16. Yeah, okay. Just gonna play 1 or 2 more things out just in case. So, Crimson Acolyte is gonna have to come in probably. I don't think I want these. So bring those in. I don't think they have any targeted removal. So I think this, besides red cards, so this I think is basically hexproof. So what do I take out? I'm probably going to take out these cartouches. They don't have edicts, so it doesn't really help that much. The benefit is this is a toughness boosting enchantment. Just good against stuff like Electrickery. So we are a little short supply on enchantments that boost toughness. I do still think these are the cut. if we see electric, like I'm not even sure they play electricity. They might be playing, like they're probably playing that card that sacrifices that I keep talking about that I don't know the name of. They're probably more likely to be playing that. And then what else do I cut here? Maybe I cut one of my hexproof creatures. I'm gonna cut the Bogle. One Bogle. I've kind of got a lot of hexproof creatures if you consider this Acolyte to be hexproof against them. In fact, I should maybe cut one more and bring one cartouche back in because I don't want to get too low on enchantments. The reason I don't want to cut the Ledgewalker, even though it's more expensive, is they have a ton of ground creatures, so I'd like to go over the top if possible. I don't know if this is right. I mean, I'm sure this is not completely right, but that's what I'm going with. All right, opponent, what you got? This is a pretty mediocre hand. I think I'm going to mulligan it. If I don't hit white for a while, this hand is really bad. I've got 11 white sources, more if you count commune. So maybe I should keep it. It's the kind of hand that could never in a million years beat just like a turn one, that creature on turn one that I've been talking about. I should probably keep this. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to keep it. We'll see. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that we have a pretty decent number of white sources in the deck. Springleaf Drum. Yeah, this is the guy, the Quark Clan Shaman. Wow. My opponent should definitely be waiting here to do that. Alright, we drew our Acolyte, which is a decent draw if we can draw some white sources. So we've got 3 planes, 4 Utopia Sprawls, 4 Abundant Growths, plus all the communes. Not great. We're just going to be passing the turn here. I'm about to get hit with Electricity. Oh, Metallic Rebuke. Okay. Well, I'm not going to attack. A little surprised not to see the Frogmite attack. Alright. Not great. Yep. Now they're getting in. White source. Not the white source we wanted, but the one we deserve, I'm sure. We definitely preferred one of the enchantment-based ones. Well, we can turn off their attacks right now, which is good. Blood Fountain is a rough one. That means they get their Shaman back. So I'm going to need to hit some red here. Or not some red. I'm going to need to hit another white source. No, I guess I can't. They can just play it this turn. But it's not the... Okay, they're doing it right away. I don't quite understand doing it this way again. I guess I'll keep running out my lands. Not that it would have mattered there. They would have just done exactly the same thing when I put this on the stack, so no real benefit, I guess, to them waiting in this case. But in the last case, I would have, like, in the first time they did that, I would have had a tough time. Right on time. All these planes. We just have drawn a lot of lands too. Well, run that guy out. I'm not blocking. They've got Galvanic Blast. I'm dead. That's just the way it is. Well, maybe I should just block. Yeah, probably not a whole lot of benefit to keeping this extra guy. So I'll block, I suppose, so I'm not dead to Galvanic Blast. Because there's a number of spells I could draw that would turn off that Galvanic Blast. Okay. It's a shame I can't give a player protection from red with this, because then I could let this Mirror Enforcer hit me. Blaze Fiend, scary, for sure. Armadillo Cloak or something. So, yeah, I don't think I can attack. Can't really hope that, I can't just sit here and hope that they have no artifacts to put into play. I'm sure they've got at least a land. They just draw a double blast. Sure. They must not have many great sideboard cards if they left those Galvanic Blasts in. Yeah, so like you could see that game why you might want more cartouches. I still don't think I want these. I think it was just an awkward draw for the deck, which is bound to happen when you keep a kind of bad hand like I did. Alright, would you like to play first? Yes, I would. Can't keep just one plains. I'm mulligan that one. See, it looks pretty decent. I'm gonna keep it, and I think I'm gonna... What am I gonna ditch? I'm kind of tempted to just ditch the Bogle. I think this Acolyte is just better. Yeah, I'm just gonna ditch the Bogle. So I gotta decide here if I want to do... So I want to play Utopia Sprawl for sure. I think I'm going to play it on green again, because the Abundant Growth can make white. And I don't think I'll need more than one white in a turn. Okay, let's start with Abundant Growth. See what I draw, and that might affect what I want to grab with Commune. Question is now, do I want one more land here? Do I want my third land? Or another Utopia Sprawl? I think I just want another land. So I'm gonna try to like go fast here. Yep, we'll grab the Ethereal Armor. So hopefully they don't have any Edicts, which would be pretty surprising to see out of their deck, but you never know. Blaze Fiend's a little scary. Got the Acolyte and the Rancor. But I should have no problem racing this Blaze Fiend. Now that I've drawn like a bunch of white spells in a row, maybe I should would have been better off having this on white, but I still think it was a fine call at the time. We'll see how much they do to me this turn. That'll kind of like change my decision if I want to do Armadillo Cloak. So I don't think they're going to be able to kill me next turn, but I think I'm still just going to play the Armadillo Cloak anyways. Just gain some life here. Because I could definitely die to, I don't know, not that much. Like, it wouldn't take that much for me to die. I don't think they have anything that can really punish this attack. That'll put me up to 17, which is a lot higher. Yeah, because like especially with the Chromatic Star, they get access to 4 cards here. Something like Blood Fountain adds 2 artifacts. So a land would be nice. Hopefully they don't have Metallic Rebuke. Alright, we're getting in. Hopefully they don't have like multiple Blood Fountains. Alright, opponent, what you got? Alright, opponent, what you doing? Just chilling. So this creature has trample, so blocking with the 0/1 doesn't really do anything. Gained a lot of life. Gonna be really tough for them to manufacture enough artifacts to kill me from here. It's probably possible with a couple like star into like double Blood Fountain or something, but feel pretty safe. Like even land, Blood Fountain, I don't think is enough. We did it. We won the match. I think this is probably a pretty good matchup. Not crazy good though. They're still a pretty fast deck, especially this Glaze Fiend version. So cool. On to the next round. Alright, here we are for round number 2. Playing against Karuno. We are on the play. And this hand looks pretty good. I'm going to keep it. And I'm going to start off here with Utopia Sprawl. And I'm going to name green, I think. Because next turn I'm going to want to play another Sprawl and a Glade Cover Scout, I think. So let's just go with green. Downside here is I can't drop Scout plus Ethereal Armor if I do it this way, but that's a chance I'm willing to take. Oh, looks like it's all gonna work out just fine. I'm actually gonna go ahead and play out the Ledgewalker. And I'm going to get it out of Electricity range. I'm sure they don't really play something like that anyways, but yeah, we should probably have no problem with this one. Go here, this one's going to name white. A Rancor, well, it's Cartouche. And I think I'm actually going to play out the Scout here, because I don't want them to, like, bolt and Chainer's Edict me, I guess. Now, I would say I'm not super concerned with killing them quickly. This is not a fast deck. Oh, I guess, never mind, this is Affinity. I was thinking... I guess I don't know what I was thinking, but still. Not going to be fast enough to get around this. I was thinking it was maybe like the gen decks that are a little more controlling. So we got lethal even through like a Somber Hoverguard or something, so I don't know. I'm trying to think of even stuff they could possibly have that could beat me here. Nothing. Shocker, we're playing against Affinity again. I'm going to bring in the Crimson Acolytes again. I still don't think I really want any of these. And I liked taking out the Bogles. I wonder if I should keep these Cartouches. Cartouches, it's just nice to get one extra toughness on your creatures. I think I'm going to take out 2 Bogle. Did I do 2 Bogle, 2 Cartouche last time? What did I even do last time? Did I play 61 or something? I'll take out a 3rd Bogle. Not that it is likely to matter, but I take out the Bogles rather than the Glade Cover Scout because technically the Bogle can be Pyroblasted on the stack. So as far as I know, the Glade Cover Scout is strictly better. But I'm not gonna stake that that's guaranteed to be true. I don't think I want any of these other cards. I mean, these cards are okay, but I don't think that's what we're looking for. They would have been better last round when we played against the Glaze Fiend version. So, really looking for Crimson Acolytes again. This is a tough one. No creatures. We've got 13 creatures and an extra draw at 1. I can start dropping masks pretty quick. I'm gonna keep this. This is probably one that you're not supposed to keep. My opponent has mulligan to 5, which makes me, I think, regret this keep because even just like a remotely functional draw could probably beat a mulligan to 5. I'm gonna do white with this one, I suppose. Maybe should have been green again. Alright, a Wellspring. Yeah, this should have probably just been green. And no creatures in our first few draws, unfortunately, here. Synthesizer. They get a swamp, which is a good hit for them. Some Frogmites. Perfect draw. Never punished. Never ever punished ever. I guess might as well leave up an activation of this, I suppose. So hopefully they don't have black removal. That'd make things really tough for me. I do have to decide if I want to jump this Mirror Enforcer with my warrior, and I think I won't. That's a little surprising. I guess it makes sense. I don't know. I probably would have disputed away the synthesizer probably. Nah, maybe not. Yeah, they were probably right. The Wellspring is probably better. Yeah, never mind. The Frogmites can't even attack, so there's no reason to block this Enforcer. And I think I'm gonna put a mask on this token. Drawing a lot of lands here. This guy has vigilance, so now I can get in there. So right now they have no attacks. Sure, they gain some life. We're gonna grind them out here, hopefully. Galvanic Blast should just go to my face. This could be a tight one. There's definitely stuff that we could draw that would just end this game, but they got a lot of stuff going on. Like if we get a trample enchantment, it's all over. I think we probably lethal this turn with like a Rancor. They also just, yeah, like they have no realistic chance if I draw an Armadillo Cloak either. I think this is probably just lethal. I didn't actually count. Not quite lethal. Okay, we did it. So here I can attack with both. So if I attack with both, then the Mirror Enforcer has to block the Warrior, and the Frogmite has to block the Acolyte. So they lose both creatures. Yeah, they can't do it the other way because they just take 25. So, all right, we got another affinity win. Let's move on to the next one. Here we are for round number 3. We're 2-0, playing against Zasarani Amici. And this seems pretty good. I'm going to keep it. I think I'm going to lead off with a Commune. Looking for Utopia Sprawler and Abundant Growth. Since I'm on the play, I can afford to hold my Glade Cover Scout in hand. Abundant Growth is good. Reason I do it this way, okay. So depending on what they're playing, I would maybe, like if they're playing a black deck, I would want to hold my Glade Cover Scout until I could drop a cartouche on it immediately. Since we're playing against Tron, I'm just trying to go as fast as possible, which I do not have a good hand for at all. This is a pretty slow hand. They've got turn 3 Tron. I guess this one does the most. I don't know, maybe they're playing Spell Pierce. I do wonder why they ran out the Sphere instead, unless maybe they just have Natural Tron. But, okay, looks like they had nothing. Which is a shame. I lost 1 damage by playing around Spell Pierce. Which probably shouldn't have done against Tron, but who knows what Tron decks are playing these days. Yep, Natural Tron plus a color. Classic. Classic against me, that's for sure. Oh, are they getting a big old Fangren? Nice. So, you draw something good. That's a good one. Alright, got a big old 8/8. This will be a close one. Depends, how many artifacts they have here. Depends also if they're mono green. If they've got another Marauder, they're going to gain just a buttload of life. Yeah, 10 life. I'm also going to be gaining 12 life with my attack, so this is an interesting one. It's possible I should have put the mask on the warrior so that they couldn't attack, similar to kind of what I did last time. But we're all in now. We might actually win this turn, I'm not sure. What are we at? 2020. So they have to block this guy, so I might as well attack with everything. Alright, so it's yielding this. I think we got him here unless they have like a ton of fogs or something. That was huge to have lethal there. Yep, we got him. Cool. I don't know exactly what to expect out of these mono green Tron decks. Maybe I should look them up. But do I care enough to look them up? Not really. I don't think I want any of this stuff anyways. It's possible I want these acolytes again. Yeah, I should really look them up. All right. 1 second here. So I'm gonna quick pause while I look up the deck. All right, it looks like some of these decks are even playing main deck sweepers, red sweepers, so let's go ahead and bring in these acolytes. I don't have any way to... So I think actually the ram throughs are to play through fogs, maybe? And they do have some fogs, so maybe I'll bring those in. Okay, this time I can bring these cartouches out. Because going up by 1 wasn't up that much. I'm going to bring in the ram throughs. We'll see if this works. Alright, let's do it. Two planes. So this deck has more plane. Like in the past, you would only play 1 planes a lot of the time. I just have to mulligan this. This hand is okay. Really need to draw some pump spells, but I'm gonna keep it and put a forest back. Plus side of this one is we have outs to beat some fogs. I'm gonna go white on this one. So I think I'm gonna want double white for this Crimson Acolyte at some point here. Alright, just drawing a steady stream of lands after I put a land to the bottom. Not great. Got the map a little too late. Alright. Turn 4 Tron, which is, pretty slow against me. I guess I'll run one of these out. Yeah, this is not a great draw. No enchantments in my top 3 here, unfortunately, or my top 4. Banger Marauder. We could probably pretty well pack this one in, to be honest. The first hand was so good if we weren't playing so many planes. I've got double white, so I can run both of these out, and I can protect them both from a sweeper. Alright, let's yield to these. What are they going to get? Crusher will make short work of my board here. Yep, that'll do it. I needed to draw Ancestral Mask there, and then maybe I could have like drawn something else and cast Ram through next turn to kill this Crusher. So I don't think my changes really messed that up. I do wonder if I want these cartouches, but I don't think so. Maybe I do want them. I'll cut the last Bogle and put this cartouche in. Yeah, let's do it. Yes, I'd like to play first. Yes, I'd like to mulligan. Got all my colors and everything. This hand looks decent. I think again this Acolyte is like just as good as Hexproof. So let's do that. I want another green. Let's do another green. So it depends. Like if I draw an Ethereal Armor next turn, I'll have wanted this to be white. Alright, let's get some enchantments here. Whew! We still hit, which is good. See if my opponent has turn 3 Tron again, like they did the first game, if they're going to be a little slower. They have a lot of ways to hit turn 3 Tron, but it is annoying when they just hit it naturally. I guess the cloak is just better. Cloak's better because the Ancestral Mask only adds +2/+2 anyways. Alright, Natural Tron. Self-assembler. That's no problem. And I do have an answer to a Crusher. So hopefully they don't have too many fogs here. Ah, Serene Heart. That was not in my not in the sideboard of the deck that I was looking at. I don't think I had any any way to beat that anyways. At least not with the draw I had. Feel pretty safe conceding here. Darn. Alright, Serene Heart is just completely broken against us, so it's really hard to beat this card if your opponent is playing creatures. Sometimes you can get play around it a bit, but they had too fast of a clock to go so slow as to play around this. So I don't know if I should have done something different last round, or yeah, in the second game, but I don't know how we could have won this game with the draw we had. So, all right, on to the next one. All right, here we are playing against Lord Lufruit in round number 4. Yes, we will go first. These planes have been so bad. I think think it is possible that they need to go. At least some of them. This hand's mediocre, but I'm going to keep it. Definitely need to draw some stuff, but definitely has outs to be good. Looks like Lord Luthor also mulliganed to 6. Now down to 5. Down to 4. I'm glad I kept like this reasonably functional hand against a mulligan to 4. Four cards, not very many, but this hand could lose to just a single Chainer's Edict, so I'm gonna run out the Scout on turn 1 this time. Okay. We did it. I'm gonna quick see if Lord Luthor has any 5-0s or anything like that to get a bit of a sense, but probably not gonna make any changes. Alright, looks like Lord Luthor plays a wide variety of decks, but a decent number of them are red. So I've seen, so there's Boros most recently, and some affinity decks and stuff. So I'm in the dark gonna bring in these acolytes. I'm gonna take out 2 Bogles. It's pretty hard to say what else I should take out. I don't know for sure that I want to take out. I'm just gonna take out 4 Bogles. I'm going all in. I think they're playing red. Let me see if their Boros deck plays any white removal. I'm guessing no. Nope, not seeing any white removal that actually kills creatures, so I think I'm gonna go with this. Yeah, I also like having a different color creature available. I'm gonna leave the cartouches in because they have Electrickery and it's another toughness booster. Yeah, we'll go with this. I do think it's funny that Magic Online tells me that I lost the die roll when I'm on the draw in like game 2. It's like I didn't lose the die roll. They lost the last game. In fact, I won the die roll. I rolled a 5. This is the kind of thing, if you were, programming Magic Online, you'd expect them to have like an if statement here of some kind. If it's game 1, put that in, otherwise don't. It's always tough deciding if you want to keep a hand that has no creatures. Got 12 creatures in the deck, only 53 cards, and I've got like 3 draws to hit one. I'm going to keep it. Maybe I shouldn't because they're mulliganing, but I like being able to, like this, yeah, okay, they are playing Boros. Like this is a hand where I can play a creature and pump it on the same turn, which I'm going to try to do next turn. So I'm going to sprawl on white. All right. Pretty good start here. They probably got Electrickery. If it's the same deck as they were playing in the past, they've also got Leave No Trace, which is definitely a scary one. They can kill all my green or white enchantments. Also got some Revoke Existences. Squadron Hawk. Refueling up their hands. I assume they're going to get 3 of them, considering they mulliganed and got to put a card to the bottom. Although they're thinking awfully hard about it. No reason not to get all 3. There they are. Alright, gotta do this tapping the right way. I don't think there's a reason really to play the Cartouche over the Ethereal Armor. Armor's just a better card. So they do play a bunch of oh, they did have some white removal. Whoops. I might have to redo my sideboarding a bit. Now that I'm looking at it again, there's some Journeys and some Oblivion Rings in their deck. So pretty scary to play this Armadillo Cloak against Leave No Trace, but they do only have 1 copy of that in the deck. Still, I think I'm gonna wait to play that until it's lethal. They've got a Strands in the graveyard, so they're not gonna take any damage this turn anyways. Alright, come on, opponent. It's possible the ram throughs should be in because it's an instant. And I can use that to like get through a Strands. Otherwise I'm just fighting the slow way through these. I don't know if this is a tough matchup per se, but it is a scary one. They have a number of cards. Like, they have such a wide variety of cards that are good against different plays for us. But it also is hard to justify playing around. Like, they've got a single Leave No Trace. Am I really going to play around that? I mean, maybe. Run out the Cartouche. Run out double Rancor. So we'll see what they decide to do here. I would probably just take it if I were them, which they are. Fortunately, this list doesn't have a... Okay, Battle Screech. Unfortunately, this list doesn't have anything like a Flaring Pain. So, if I attack with both, then they have to use the Strands. And I don't have to play out my Cloak. I do have to decide realistically if I can beat Leave No Trace on white, but I do think that I can. So, plus getting rid of this warrior makes me a little less vulnerable to electricity, I guess. Yeah, it's still lethal. I think they figured it out. Oh, okay. Gotta hit okay again. It's possible I should have cloaked up my token there. I wonder if I should have tried doing something like that, like Ethereal Armor on the token, Cartouche here, and then the Rancors. It's a lot of birds. I guess they're just planning on blocking here. They don't have another Prismatic Strands that they can cast. They don't have double white up. I mean, we're going for it. We did it. Cool. So yeah, they really need to draw Leave No Trace. I tried to play around it as much as I could by not playing out the Armadillo Cloak. Because so the way Leave No Trace works, for those of you who don't know the card, destroys an enchantment and all other enchantments with the same colors as that enchantment. So if you run out the Armadillo Cloak, they get to kill all the green and white enchantments rather than either green or white. So that can make a big difference. Like if they leave no trace my white ones and they don't have Electrickery, I can Armadillo Cloak this afterwards and still keep going. So, all right, we're 3-1. On to the final round. All right, here we are for round number 5 on the play, and we are trying to get that coveted 4-1. Make this a nice league instead of a pretty mediocre league, and we've got a great hand, so gonna keep it. Had some really good hands this league, which is what you need if you want to win with this deck. Gonna name white here. We haven't played against any Edict decks, which makes sense because there are very few of those that exist. This is also our first blue match, and look at our opponent playing like cards that don't look like Magic cards in any way. I haven't seen this one. This one's kind of crazy, this Preordain. But all right. Pretty easy decision here. Now we're out of played around all of the counter spells. Now all we have to worry about is whether or not they're playing black. This could easily be blue-black, and they could have an Edict for me. Another island. Ponder. Ooh. I like these old art ones. Now this one is cool. This one, I could take or leave. Alright. That makes my choice pretty easy. I'm going to run out this scout in case they're playing black. Blue-Black Delver is one of the most popular decks. Allegedly. At least if you go on MTG Goldfish. So alright, so this was Jake Helms. I don't know if they were playing mono blue or if they're playing blue black. Didn't really see anything to indicate one or the other. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and try to see what they like to play. The good thing about never trophying, if you're me, other than with Delver, is that people always think you're playing Delver, even though that's not what I usually play. So they've played a pretty wide variety of stuff as well in various challenges. Fairies, Monarch, Scred, Jund Sacrifice. The stuff is kind of old, a lot of it too. Oh, Jund Sacrifice is Pioneer. I'm going to play with the assumption that they are playing blue-red. I'm bringing these Acolytes. And I guess I'm supposed to bring in the gut shots too? I don't know. So if they're playing blue-red... Oh, but, they weren't playing... Those aren't Snowlands. So maybe they aren't playing blue-red. Maybe I just bring in the gut shots. I don't think I want any of these. Do I even care about these stupid gut shots? I don't know what I should take out if I'm going to bring in the gut shots. So if we're playing against mono blue, I don't want these cartouches. But if we're playing against blue black, I definitely want them. I assume these gut shots are good. I can't imagine a deck with that many islands. It's not playing Spellstarter Sprite. So maybe I cut some of the bad, not bad, but these expensive. Like maybe I cut 2 cloaks. A lot of times they will race you though. And you need the cloaks. Maybe I'll cut the masks. 2 masks. I'm only going to bring in 1 gut shot. Now I'm bringing a gut shot, and I'm going to cut a cartouche. Alright. No, if they're playing electric, I want the cartouches. Maybe I just cut... Okay, I'll cut 1 cloak. Alright. We're getting a little leaner, I suppose. So, hopefully... I hedged a little bit here because I don't know if they're playing black or red. I have to mulligan this no lander. This one seems pretty good. I'll keep it. I think I'm gonna get rid of the plains and just put the sprawl on white right away. Or I could put it on green and then just have a white. Let's do that. Alright. Playing in Ash Barrens. Definitely interesting one. Well, I'm filled with regret now that I think I would have been a lot better off if I had kept another forest here. This makes you think they're maybe even more controlling than I had initially thought. I think I'm still going to go with the assumption that they're playing red. Negate. Okay. Another Ash Barrens for plains. Okay. Familiars. That's cool. So familiars would probably really have nothing for me then. These gut shots are terrible. Really a shame that I drew one. I guess we'll make triple green. Alright, I've got a 2/2. We're getting in there. Well, I regret all my sideboarding. Gonna be in big trouble in this one, I think, if they have even a remotely reasonable draw. Which as of yet, they have not had. At least they haven't done much. Alright. Muldrifter gonna get ephemerated. Fortunately, Gutshot is too trash to deal with that. I do at least have first strike. It's not looking very good, you guys. I'm gonna give it one more turn, but I think I'm about ready to pack it in. They're gonna have 10 cards here. And they might just infinite me right here. It's gonna be a tough one. Yeah, negate is like pretty much unbeatable. I think I can just concede to that. Let's see what I draw. I mean, sure. I'll give it one more draw. I assume they have an ephemerate in their hand. Or another Archaeomancer. Yeah, now they just get the negate back, and they have Ephemerate going, so feel pretty safe doing that concession. Let's get these gut shots out. I'm gonna bring these in. I'm gonna take a look at what the Familiars deck looks like. So the Familiars deck from the last challenge looks extremely hostile to Bogles. It's got 2 Patrician Scorn, which destroys all enchantments, and then it's got 4 Stonehorn Dignitaries. So I think I just need to go really fast. And I need these ram throughs so I can actually win through Stonehorn Dignitary loops. The cartouches of Solidarity are not very good, so I can probably cut some of those. And I might bring in a cartouche of Strength also in exchange for those. Alright, let's try it out. Yes, I'd like to play first, so we just need a fast hand. I don't think this is fast enough. It's so close, but nah, I gotta mulligan that. Sand's also not great, but I'm going to keep it. Dump a forest, I think. Keep. Get rid of a forest. Gonna sprawl on green on turn 1. Most of the time, I think you should play your sprawl out on turn 1 rather than one of these guys, unless if you're on the play. If you're on the draw, you might want to get one of these guys down. They might play Spell Pierce or something, so play that. Plains first. Ethereal Armor is a good one. Got the Bogle. Plus an armor on it. Now I'm hoping they don't have Spell Pierce. Looks like they do. Oh no, just Nash Barons. Yeah, I don't know if they play any Spell Pierces. It would be kind of weird to play one in this deck, but you never know. Alright. Well, gonna run one of these into a negate. If they don't negate that one, I'm just gonna run out the scout. Like they were scared of another ethereal armor or something. Alright, a familiar. It's possible I should have put this one on the scout. Alright, so there's there's the counter spell. We played around beautifully. We played around it as best as we could. So, if they have an untapped land and a Stonehorn Dignitary, we're in trouble. Yep. Ram through. Nope. So now every ephemerate is going to be a double fog. It's interesting they're tapping white, but also another color. It's interesting. I don't know what they're doing unless they have a plains in their hand. Well, got 11 power and they need to block with 2 of these at the moment. I can resolve this mask. So if I attack with both, yeah, they have to put all three on the Bogle to survive. So, this is tough. So I have to decide if I want to play around. I guess it just doesn't matter. I might as well just run it out there. They have to negate it if they can. Thing is, I could have resolved this in my second main phase, but it doesn't really matter. So they have to block all on here, and they'll go to 1. Right, this is only 10. So I could have resolved in my second main, but like them at 1 with no creatures, and me with just all this. Doesn't really matter to have that Ancestral Mask resolved, so I might as well force them to have it. They didn't even bother trying to do a shuffle there, I guess. So, awesome, went 4-1. Lost to decent draw out of the Tron deck. Really hard to beat Serene Heart, and we just didn't quite get there in the other game against them, but cool. Well, this was a good league. You got to see, the power of this deck, and you could kind of hear at least my reasoning, which may or may not be good since I don't play this game. I don't play this deck that often. But you could kind of hear some of my reasoning for why I play what when. So, like, when to play around Electrickery or when to try to play around Edicts. If you don't know exactly what your opponent's playing. Because there's a lot of decks that it's kind of hard to tell exactly what they are. Like, we played against that Jund Artifact deck in the second round, and sometimes that deck is more of a control deck. Like, it's a cleansing Wildfire deck, and it has Chainer's Edicts in it and stuff. Like that could have easily been Jund Cascade, at least for the first couple turns of the game. So you have to decide what you're going to do, if you're going to try to protect your hexproof creature from an edict or not, or if you're going to try to get as much damage as quickly as possible. Also playing around counter spells. So do you play your Bogle out on turn 1 against blue decks? You probably want to if you're on the draw, because you don't want them to have 2 mana up against your Bogle. But if you're on the play, like I was a number of times, I think I might have been on the play every match here. If you're on the play, then you can run out your Utopia Sprawl and spend 3 mana on turn 2 because they only have 1 mana up. So just, some kind of intricacies to think about. I'm sure I didn't play perfectly. I definitely kept some sketchy keeps. A lot of them got there, obviously. But hopefully you can learn from this, and hopefully you enjoyed. Last thing, again, reminder, if you want to see more content like this, like and subscribe. Let me know if there's other decks you want to see me play in the comments. I respond to all the comments that seem like they need a response. So, and I read them all. If you want to talk to me, do it there. With that, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.